Howdy, Axe. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas to you and yours. My gift to you is going to be my most in-depth early signing day or recap of anything I've ever done, and depth chart preview based off of what we've reeled in for the early signing day. Put a little cherry on top. Going to do a couple of grades for position coaches and wrap all that up. So we got a lot going on tonight. Hope you enjoy, but it is quite a bit. So buckle up. This is the AggieCentral podcast.
Gonna throw here to Parker at the 20, at the 15, at the 10, 5. He is almost. He got a touchdown! He got.
Left center field. It could be. It is a home run.
Oh, doctor!
All right, Ags, hey, let's just jump right into this because it is a lot going on tonight. I'm going to give you comparables for each one, in my opinion. I'm going to give you my strengths and my weaknesses for each one of them. I'm going to show you film of every single player that we reeled in for the 2023 class. It is a lot. I can't wait. So let's go ahead and get right to it, and let's start off with a nice, very nice appetizer. Ruben Owens, this is who you're going to see right here. Let's take a look at what this guy is doing. Now, he's the number 2 running back in this class. He's 5'11", 190 pounds, number 24 player nationally. He's coming out of El Campo, Texas. When you watch this guy, I'm trying to think, who does he look like? Who does he remind me of? I don't know. A few names come to mind. I think he's kind of a cross, though. I think between maybe Kristen Michael and Trey Williams. Now, you're not going to quite see so much of the grasshopperness out of him as you would see out of Trey Williams, right? And you're probably not going to quite see some of the run you over that Kristen Michael might offer. But to me, he's got a little bit of both of them. And he kind of runs a little bit, honestly, like Derrick Henry, kind of upright. So this guy, very, very intriguing, and you can see when this guy gets shot out of a rocket, he's going somewhere. So, his cuts and everything also kind of remind me of Spiller. And any one of those guys I would like to have the right combination of, and this guy looks like the right combination of every bit of what we need. I like his attitude. I think we thought he was going to be an Aggie the entire way. He committed to Louisville. It was kind of like, okay, what happened there? And then he came back over to the light, and I'm glad to see it. So look at this guy cut. He's going to fumble the ball right here, right? But he runs with authority, and he's got patience. That's probably my number one strength for him is his patience. Watch him run behind these blockers. I think it's coming up a little bit more so, but he knows how to use his blockers, cut. You see, that was very Spiller-esque right there. Very much so. Take one cut, make a bounce out, find the hole. Man, look at these cuts. Wow. Very, very, very high potential guy. And he's already performing at a high potential as well. Ooh, man, it's just cut after cut with this guy. So really liking this guy a lot. And so this is one hell of an appetizer, and we are going to get to the meat and potatoes. Well, we got 2 or 3 more of those coming. So how about let's go over to a guy that flipped for us. Jordan Platt. Correction, Jaden Platt. He flipped from Stanford, right? So this guy was committed to Stanford. He's a tight end. He's the number 11 tight end. He is in the top 300 nationally. He's 6'5", about 235. He's from Hazlet, Texas. And, I'm just thinking about the flip and seeing where he's playing right now. So they don't have him line up in a traditional tight end formation a lot of the times. It got me wondering whether or not we're going to use him exclusively as a tight end, or if maybe this guy has a little bit of Jeff Fuller in him. Okay, now if I'm looking at him as a tight end, I'm watching the way he moves, how sure-handed he is, really vibes that I'm getting. I think Martellus Bennett is one thing I see. And watch him block. This guy is no stranger to a block. He likes to put you down. There we are, lined up kind of in a slot situation again. He's very savvy. He knows how to sit down into the holes where the zones are going to be given to him. And as we know, again, you must block. He looks great at the tight end position when he does that as well. Very reminiscent of what we saw from Donovan Wilson this last year. Weidermeyer in his first year in particular. He's very sure-handed, though. Very sure-handed. Got a great head on his shoulders. And I think that needs to be the theme for tonight. Maybe there's a couple, but that one in particular, I think it's great to see a very sound person being recruited, targeted, committed, right? We're tired of shenanigans right now, and this guy adds a very sound personality to the locker room, in my opinion. So that's Jaden Platt. All right. These appetizers just keep on hitting. So how about a tease? Huh? How about a tease? Micah Tease, number 9 wide receiver in the class. Yeah, also top 200 guy nationally. Look at that catch. Who does that remind you of? Kind of a long, lean guy as well, but he's got a little bit of speed on him too. He's 6'5". No, take that back. He's 5'11". This is a little bit shorter guy. 5'11", 180. He's listed as an athlete, projected as a wide receiver, though. When I'm watching this guy and the way he uses his body, my thoughts right off the bat are Josh Reynolds. I don't think anybody's ever used their body quite as good as Josh Reynolds. Josh Reynolds, you know, he'd put his body between you and he'd catch the ball out as far away from his body as he possibly could. He was really savvy about that. This guy plays a little bit of defense as well, which you're also going to see that continue on. That's going to be a trend in this class as well. A lot of guys playing both sides of the ball the entire way through. Let's watch a little bit more what this guy can do. Nice little in route. His stride is so long. That's one of the things that kind of gives me that sense of Reynolds. You know, he's a little thicker than Reynolds though. So he's probably quicker. He doesn't quite maybe have the same top end. Reynolds was very elusive, but see how he bodies up. He gets his body between the ball and the defender. He does that quite a bit. He's got that very, you know, elusive like slant route, busted up for a post kind of situation. Continues it on. We really got a good one here. This was an area of need, wide receiver. I think we got two guys that can fill roles. Maybe one's a tight end. We're going to look at the tight end position group very closely, as well as the rest of them, so you can kind of see what we're adding to the depth chart. So maybe Tease can play wide receiver. Maybe he can play tight end. Either one, Platt can do that, and this guy Tease definitely hits the wide receiver well. And I think if we get either one of those in that room, we have made some headway for this class after a few departures. So you've had your appetizers though, right? What you ready for now? How about a little meat and potatoes? All right. First up, sirloin steak, 12 ounce. Cooked medium. What do you think? Medium ought to do, I think, pretty good. This is Naquil Bertrand. Now watch this guy. He is 6'7". He's 310 pounds. We plucked this guy out of Philadelphia as an offensive tackle. Hey, you know, is he kind of loafing a little bit? I mean, he's running down the field there, though, isn't he? Wait, this is him on defense, right? What's he doing here? Oh, hey, hey, calm down. Hey, my friend, I need you to calm it down real quick. You're gonna hurt somebody on the other side. So this guy likes to play both ways as well. I thought he's gonna be a little bit of a teddy bear there, but more and more I watch this guy, guys keep ending up on the ground and him on top of him. I feel sorry for him. Here, look at that guy. You want this guy on top of you? I, Jeez Louise. I mean, it's just punishment. Punishment after punishment. He's just inside the top 1,000, by the way. He looks like he starts slow, but then he kind of gets picked up. If I'm thinking of a guy, he reminds me. I mean, this is a big body. Jarvis Harrison comes to mind, probably first and foremost. Very imposing guy. You know, kind of when you get him rolling, he's just going to keep putting you on the ground. That's kind of what I think of whenever I'm seeing this guy play. So he is, like I said, just barely inside the top 1,000. But keep that in mind. We have we took four offensive linemen in this group, and we needed to do that. Keep stockpiling that. So I'm interested to see how this guy's going to turn out. Why would he be maybe rated so low? And I've got some answers for that, maybe a little bit, especially on some other position groups, and that will kind of work into this whole thing. But I don't know. This perhaps playing in Philadelphia is not as convincing to some of the scouts, but no problem. That's all right because we got more steak. Let's get some potatoes though. I like potatoes, don't you? How about Colton Thomason? All right, you couldn't really tell he's kind of in the middle of the group there, but it'll be clear here on out from his huddle film. He's the number 27 tackle. He's just outside the top 300. He's 6'8", 325. And I'd say, let's see this. Watching this guy, he's 325 pounds of just smash and break. Is he just pushing that guy 15 yards down the field? My goodness. Who does he remind you of? I got two. I haven't decided between Thomason and Shanahan on who is who. Maybe it's Basantis. We got a couple more linemen. These two guys, I think he's either a Jake Matthews type or a Luke Jokel. That's the way he kind of plays. I get that nasty vibe from him, which they had as well. Just, like when you grab a guy and you just continue to just punish him, like that's just nasty. Like you get that nasty streak in you, and just let him go, man. He pushed him nearly farther than the running back took the ball. He's strong too, very physically imposing. He's got pretty decent hand placement as well. Most of these guys are. One of the things I see from these offensive linemen is they will sometimes be playing against significantly smaller guys. And when they do that, they grab with their hands on the outside because they can get away with that. And when you've got a smaller guy, you can just kind of lock them up. But you can see there, he's got at least one hand on the inside. And so he's dealing with a bigger dude there. So he's been pretty good with that. But you see there, he just kind of runs over 46 because, he can. But if he will keep his hands inside, that will serve him a long way. That's one of the things these guys are probably going to have to work on as they transition to the next level. All right, next course, ribeye. Wagyu. 44 Farms. I don't know. Take your choice. This is TJ Shanahan. Okay? He's the guy with the long hair right there. He's frequently going to be the guy on top of another guy who's also on the ground. Who does he remind you of? I got a hybrid kind of situation thought on this one, but he's the number 2 at his position. He's number 50 nationally, so we're inside the top 100. And he was the top player in New Jersey. He's 6'5", 290. No. No, I think this guy, yeah. I mean, he's just, doesn't he have kind of a nasty streak in him too? I think I got that wrong. You know what? This guy actually came out of Austin, Texas. He came out of Austin, Texas. I thought people weren't supposed to leave Austin, Texas. Sorry, I got him mixed up with Chase Basantis. He came out of New Jersey. But TJ is coming from Austin. I thought people weren't supposed to want to go to College Station, especially not leaving from Austin, right? We are going to have to think about that. We're going to have to reevaluate that. So again, TJ Shanahan, he's probably a hybrid, if I had to guess, between Cullen Gillespie and a Spencer Neely. The motor is there, the sort of the passion that you got from Cullen is there. I just kind of see it in the way he plays. It's the vibe I get. He's got some of those places to grow as well with his hands, but his motor is what is so impressive to me. Huge and great pickup. Last I've got for you is a tomahawk ribeye. Okay, this is Chase Basantis. He was the top player in New Jersey. My fault. I got them mixed up. But he's number 2 at his position. Shanahan was number 7. So this guy's number 50 nationally. And he's our top-rated offensive tackle. And what just happened right there? Watch this guy work. Oh, okay. Now he's close there. He almost got a penalty. He was shoving out of bounds there. He's kind of like a snowplow, and he will just take you all the way down the field. These guys are nearly running the same distance as the running backs are a lot of times. I mean, all 4 of them, right? All 4 of these guys have high motors. They're kind of no quit. They all have that sort of, you get a little bit of that mean streak coming from them. Look at this guy just keep on going. He doesn't want to let you down, and he wants to get on top of you and pancake you. It's almost like they knew they were coming in together, see who could get the most pancakes. They will put you on the floor in a hurry. I'm not sure who I've got as a comp for this guy at the moment. If Thomason is Jake Matthews, and I think Basantis is Luke Jokel. They kind of give me a Smash Brothers kind of mentality, bookends for the offensive line on the tackle side of things. Wow, the way that each one of them actually, the way that they move. I was even kind of surprised at Veteran and to see how he moved. It seemed like he was going to be a little slower than he was, but then you see these guys like making it down the field so far. They can, I mean, these guys can really move. They really can. I want to move you now over to some more meat and potatoes, because that's what this class is kind of about. And so we will stick with the high carbs and high protein for a bit longer. Let's move over to the defensive side, though, and get onto the line. I've got Ryland Kennedy for you here. Okay, he's out of Mansfield, Texas. Let me readjust here to get you a better view. All right, check this guy out. All right, he's 6'4", he's 210. I want you to watch him close, though, okay? Usually he's going to be the one that's making the play. His tape is not out there so much, quite like many others. He's not a high-profile guy. He's, like I said, 210 pounds soaking wet out of Mansfield, Texas. So what do you see from this guy? Maybe he's kind of a bit more of a linebacker type. It's a possibility, right? Maybe he's a little bit more of the, I don't know if Antonio Johnson's quite the right person, but definitely edge. He's listed as an edge. He gives me a vibe I'm just going to say it. He gives me a vibe of Von Miller. Yeah, I mean, he's a 3-star guy just like him. He plays bigger than his size. Von always did that. He's undersized for a position, right? And that's kind of the way Von was. But if you watch this guy, watch how he goes around some of these edges. Okay, so this is not a great one, but when we get to him doing more of a pass rush coming off the edge, he really knows how to hit that edge and kind of do that dip that Von is so very good at. If he could do half that, I mean, I'm sure he's going to take a little bit of time to develop. He is, what, like I said, he's undersized. So, give him a couple years in the system, put on a little bit of weight, maybe get him up to 240. Hey, he could definitely serve as an edge. He could also roll right into a linebacker situation, which is a huge area of need that we've had the entire time. So, can he do either one? Possibly. Is he a little bit more of a hybrid? Probably. Can he get up on the line? Yes. Can he play back on linebacker? Yes. So he can do all those. And he's got the right size for it. And we'll see how his body transitions as he gets into our strength and conditioning program on our meal plan and everything. He might fill out a little bit. You just kind of never know how big they're going to get at this age. It can be a little unsure. But if he hits that program hard, I mean, even for linebacker, you'd like to see him up at the 230 range. Yeah, at least 220 probably. 215 is not bad, but he right now, if we're even thinking about getting him down on the edge, I'd really like to see him 235, 240 for sure. So I think he'd be able to hold his own at that weight, but he'd be a little undersized for now. But that's no problem. We have a lot of depth at defensive line, and so he's got a couple years he can sit, and that's perfectly fine. Now though, what I want to do is get you over to my favorite commit that we've had so far. Get you a full view of this. Hopefully you'll be able to hear it well.
So you know he is going to make an immediate impact on the field.
Impact-wise, I feel like this dude's got to be number one.
Okay, so David Hicks Jr., the commitment, the video game. What kind of console we playing on here? Probably got to be a station, right? The station console. Yeah, I want to start the game. Let's start the game, yes. Select your player for sure. I want to play with David Hicks, the #1 defensive lineman in the country. Ooh, no, not as a Texas or Oregon. Oklahoma don't want no smoke. Alabama, we're back to Oklahoma. I thought we just settled this. Pick no. Good. I like to recap it like that. This is kind of how I watched it. This is what was fun for me. I think it's the most entertaining commitment video, and you got to hand it to this guy. He committed way back when, and he stuck with the commitment despite being said that he was going to flip and having crystal balls 100% for Oklahoma. And he stuck with it. I respect that. I respect that a lot. I know you all do too. It helps us to think about that character and what's kind of going on behind the scenes. Up here, we have talked a lot about whether or not guys are coming in and whether or not they are Aggies. And you commit far off. Remember, this is a #1 defensive lineman. And did he wait till National Signing Day? He did not. He did it early signing day. So there's a few factors in there for me that are talking about his level of commitment to A&M, not some bag that people are talking about, not some this or that or whatever it may be. This guy feels like an Aggie to me in the way this commitment rolled off. I'm extremely happy about that. Let's take a look at what he brings to the field. Like I said, he's the #1 defensive lineman. He's #9 nationally, so he is a 5-star recruit. He's out of Katy, Texas. So he's playing big boy ball over there. He stands, what, 6'4"? He's 270 pounds. Golly. 270 pounds of mean. I mean, this is Texas bred Angus beef right here, right? I mean, 44 Farms variety. They need to probably sponsor this guy or something. Just shout out for him right here. Get him the NIL deal. Look at the moves. He's got moves like Jackson. And the strength. The strength is really something that stands out, you know, between him and, you know, Kennedy. Kennedy being a little smaller. Hey, don't do that. We're watching football highlights, not wrestling. You can see he's in every play. He's all over the place. And he is a very physically imposing guy. Always got something going on too. So really liking that guy. I want to point out a few things too while we're at it. Let me bring up this. This is what's been kind of going on recently. Let's see when we get this where you can see get the full effect here. All right, Aaron Torres. Aaron Torres says, interesting how certain schools are covered. A&M signs #1 class in 2022, off an 8-4 year with a win over #1 Bama. They must be cheating, right? Miami signs #3 class in 2023, off a 5-7 year, has a booster who brags about paying players. Mario Cristobal is a great recruiter. Bomani, my man Bomani, not my man. Well, he says, it's because nobody but Aggie would go to College Station for free. Aggie's greatest disconnect is not understanding how the rest of us feel about that place. It skews how we see anyone who goes there. So let me get this right, Bomani. You looking at all these recruits differently because they're choosing to go here. Got it. Got it. So, you know, this guy, he could be writing about anything. Anything. He takes time out of his day to go and write, put tweets out. He's got the time for this, apparently. I mean, this would be like, I don't know, if I'm working at a school, then in Texas, I would take time out of my day to go and call some school in Montana and tell them about how I don't like the way they're doing things over there. Do I have time for that? I don't have time for that. I got better things to do. This guy doesn't have better things to do. This is one of the things top on his agenda. So it either pays to hate on us right now, which I'm fine with, by the way, or this guy's just got a deep-seated hatred. I don't know. Not sure what got you there, Bomani, my friend, but come on down. I'll show you the ropes, okay? But moving on, because we just having to carve out our own path on this, to be quite honest. I don't really think this is even paralleled in a lot of ways. The level of pushback we've been getting is something I think we're just going to have to feed into. The next commit was just as controversial as some of the others, and this is Marcel Reed. Check this guy out. I've already got vibes right off the bat on this guy. I'll hold him to the end, though. You got to love this guy because he decommits from Ole Miss. He upsets Kiffin U, where the mascot is a clown. Okay? So this guy, he's got to go out and he's got to go tweet about this and everything else, right? Because everybody puts out that notification before early signing day. It says, hey, remember, don't tweet at recruits. But of course, he's kind of doing it, but be that as it may. Let this guy just kind of do his work. Now, Marcel, he's got a cannon, right? He's got a nice deep ball, and he moves really well. He's a great runner. He's got a long stride on him as well. Watch how he can throw this ball running. It just stops and plants, and he does really, really well outside of the pocket. One of the things that's kind of sticking out to me as I'm watching him play, it looks like to me he processes really quickly. A lot's going on. It looks like he's making decisions like one after another. But the way I'm watching him play, his game, Again, that long ball he's got, that deep, accurate ball, and the way he can run, yeah, it's got me thinking Reggie McNeil. It does. Now this guy, he's just outside the top 30. He is the number 18 quarterback nationwide. And just like the commercial, he's on your side. I think he took Eli Holstein's place. We originally had him committed, and it was like, okay, well, what we're going to do now that we don't have that guy committed back when he decommitted. It's been about almost a year ago now. And then now Connor has emerged, and it seems like, because Connor's got 3 more years, why are you looking to take a really high-profile quarterback this year when you don't have the ability perhaps to get them time early, which is very valuable right now? Well, you've got to kind of go with a guy that maybe is a little bit under the radar, and I think this guy definitely did it. I mean, I think it's a compliment to him that Lane Kiffin did want him, because Lane Kiffin's a very good evaluator of quarterbacks that he can use to work in his system. So I think what we did here is we reached a little bit in that we really did some homework to find a very high quality guy that was not wowing everybody to make, for him to be able to rise up real high in the ranks. But if I'm watching this guy, I'm not any more disappointed with him than I would be from anybody else or anything else. That's also like a third trend that's going to be going on in here, because we're taking some low-end guys. I told you about Naquil Bertrand, who's like 1,000 or something. So we've definitely had to dig deep on this one, and that's why I'm partially showing you a lot of this film, because I want you to be able to see, maybe even though these guys aren't got the rankings that you might have thought, when you look at them, you got to decide for yourself, are those rankings that accurate? Maybe they are, maybe they're not, but maybe there's not a lot of difference between some of them and like people that are 400 or 500 places higher. Maybe there's just not a lot of difference, and it's going to depend on how we develop them and their character and what they're willing to do and what they want to accomplish. So some very, very interesting insights going on to the guys that we took in this class. What's the next area that we needed most? You all know it. We've had some drama in the linebacker department, some departures. We're going to look at all that depth and see who we've got left and who's coming in. But linebacker is a huge major need. First up, Tari York. It's out of Temple, Texas. All right, smaller guy. He's 6 foot, 217 pounds. He's just inside the top 1,000. Okay. I want you to watch these guys real closely, because I got a comp for you on all of these guys. I want to make obvious. There he is working from the linebacker position. Comes up, makes a play. Not terribly the most flashy thing you've ever seen. Okay. Awareness. He sees the running back kind of sit down, and he goes and makes a play. Great. There's a hit. Hey, he'll lay the wood too. Don't get confused. Okay, he knows his role. That's what I get from a lot of his film, and he knows where to be. He's, you might call this guy a role player, but watch him stay in his gap right where he needed to be. Did you see him read that right there? Is that not something that you want out of your linebackers right now? Plugging gaps, staying sound, playing those schemes right where they need to play those schemes. So I'm liking what I've seen out of this guy. Let's move on to the next guy, Damian Sanford. Yeah, let's take a look at what he's got to offer here. All right, he's 6'2", 210. That's about where all the linebackers are going to be for us. He's kind of playing a little bit more of a will. See, he can drop, back into coverage as well. He knows how to read a quarterback. So he's got that skill with him. Now he is like 343rd in the nation, so again, you're not going to get a real flashy number here. I think he qualifies as a 4-star recruit. I might be slipping on that. He's somewhere down there though, right in the high 3s, low 4s. He is playing in Katy, and I think if I had a comp for him, I'm thinking somewhere between Buddy Johnson and maybe currently Cooper, who's on the team, right? He's got some quickness to him. He's pretty sound. He looks like, to me though, he's got a good awareness and a good head on his shoulders about where to be and when he needs to be there. So Buddy was exemplified that. He exemplified it so much that he was really, really good at taking the right angle to the ball. And that helped him because he wasn't the fastest guy, but because he took the right angles, he was right where he needed to be a lot of the times, and so does this guy. But he does have a little bit more leg underneath him than Buddy does. That's why I kind of give him a little bit of a Cooper situation too. It's kind of a low-key guy. Let's talk about Chance Johnson though for a second. He's the 3rd linebacker out of the group that we've taken. Again, 6 foot, even, 210 pounds, the 70th linebacker in the country. Again, watch him close, see what you see from him. I don't think you're going to see a whole lot of flashiness to him. You're going to see some plays being made though. Okay, again, he's just right where he needs to be. And I'm kind of foreshadowing all this, right, y'all, because I want you to watch some other film, and I want you to be thinking to yourself, like, are you seeing a whole lot more from that than you are from this? This guy, I think he's just a ball player. I think that's the best way to put it for this guy. So he can do pretty much whatever you need. He's not going to be a big time flashy guy. He's probably going to be somebody that will go and fill a need and a role whenever you need it. He's going to do what you ask him to do, and he's going to not be a detriment in the locker room most likely. I mean, I just don't think you're going to get a lot of that out of three-star recruits. But it's fine. We filled a need. We did what we got, and I think what we're seeing here is just some solid play. I think from all these guys, we're seeing solid play, and that's fine by me. It really is. So I'm digging what we've done with the linebacker situation so far, and I want to bolster all this with showing you this commitment from Tarian York. Okay, listen to this guy talk.
And I remember there were a lot of days my junior year where I felt like it wasn't going to come. And everybody told me be patient, but you can't be patient with that. You know, I felt like I had a great 3 years and it wasn't coming, so I was wondering and asking myself, what am I doing wrong? Because I felt like I was doing everything I had to do to get there. And whenever you go in the month of June, when college campuses open up and you go to 14 places in 30 days and you don't walk out with a single offer, you're going to start questioning yourself. But I never once got down on myself and said I wasn't going to make it happen, because in the back of my head, I always knew I was going to make it happen. And my family was always there for me, whether I had 0 offers or I had 15. You know, they stayed through it all, and I really just want to say thank y'all, and I appreciate it.
Is that not the epitome of what you wanted when we started recruiting guys? Right? We knew we had a major need for character, major need for commitment, for loyalty. And I think you can tell this guy has been through the ringer. So he's already probably got a healthy dose of toughness, effort, discipline, pride, and grit. That what you just saw from there is an emotional reaction from the grit that he's had to be through, that he's had to go through to get to where he is. So, extremely excited to have that guy on our team. Huge guy. That's a passionate guy. I want to see passion on this team. I just love that. Wow. So I'm gonna pump the brakes on it, because that right there is just amazing. All right, well, let's move on to Javon Thomas. He's out of South Oak Cliff, Dallas. He's 5'11". He's a 170-pound kind of all-purpose guy. This was a guy that TCU thought they might flip, and they were real high on this guy, right? Because he's in the Dallas area, and they've been snagging a few people recently, JoJo Earl, a few others I'm sure, and they took a look at this guy, and I kind of heard, well, what's going to happen with him? And there were some brazen attempts at him flipping. Well, as you can tell, he hasn't flipped. And by the way he covers, I'm sure glad he didn't. This is filling a need. This is definitely a need that we had up there. And he, like I said, he does it all. He's returning punts right here. He's playing cornerback. Did I see him on offense earlier too? We'll check that out here in a second. He can, the guy can move. I think for me, when I see him play, I want to have a love child between, or I'm thinking that's what this is, between Armani Watts and Devon Achane, because he's got a lot of that. He's a defensive-minded kind of guy. They're using him a lot on offense, and he's just got that quick. It's not exactly a cut. It's just, in the breakaway speed too. This ability to leave the guy is probably what gives me a chain thing. You see that how he was able to get around the edge too. A chain was able to do that all the time because he was so quick and fast to get to the edge. So Javon Thomas, big get for us. He didn't flip after all. So another 4-star recruit, big pickup for us. Definitely a statement to be able to hold on to him when TCU is surging. Couldn't be happier. Dalton Brooks, Mr. Low Key. So this guy's a number 3 athlete, but we're looking at him for cornerback. I don't think you're going to see a whole lot of the huddle film keying in on him. Okay, yes you are. And you're going to see him on both sides of the ball again. I told you that was going to be a trend, right? I can't, already as I'm watching this, I've seen this few times now. I can't stop thinking about the same guy every time I watch him take a handoff. Look at him run. I mean, when he's doing this, what it makes me think of is Cyrus Gray. That's who it is. Partially it's that towel hanging out the back, but whenever he breaks off something like that, it makes me think, we're Cyrus Gray breaking off an 84-yarder against the Shorthorns. That's what I get from this guy whenever I watch him. So again, we got all these guys playing both sides of the ball. Here he is on defense, probably the safety position. Bam! Holy moly! We're gonna do some more. He can cover too. Yeah. So, you're probably thinking a Damani Richardson replacement here. Leon O'Neal definitely in the safety area. The man can just move. I would not be surprised if he ends up taking handoffs though at some point. He is really good at running back. This time would technically be our second running back with Ruben Owens in the class, which is fine. We've had some injuries, and we've definitely been like 3 deep each year in this situation, at least to have him. But I could definitely see him getting a few handoffs from time to time as the years kind of drag on. So a couple years from now, we run up against a couple injuries or something. We need somebody to fill in, something like that. He's definitely a very reasonable possibility for something like that. But I really like him in the defensive backfield as well. Very, very physical and athletic guy. How about Bravion Rogers? Have you seen much on this guy? He's a number 7 cornerback from LaGrange, just outside the top 100 overall. His music actually came through. Watch this guy work. Just gonna be a little block, scoop, and score. Take it to the house yourself. Do everything. see him on the defensive side of the ball at least. All right, so working on the edge here. Okay, he's no stranger to making a tackle. I mean, something he's probably going to have to work on is his tackling. He's a little bit on the lighter side, probably in the 185 range. Not a problem with that, but cutting those knees has to be done correctly. And the slinging them around kind of situation is also something that doesn't really work well when you've got a 210, 225 pounder plus guy that you're trying to get down running from the backfield. So, but as you can see, a large portion of his work is going to be done in the defensive backfield. He's very aware. You see that? He was tuned into the quarterback at all times. That'll be a theme with him. Always watching where the quarterback's going. So he's got good awareness of where the receiver's going to as well, even though he's constantly watching where the quarterback's going. His feel is really just about unmatched. I like to see the press as well. Press is really big for me right now. He's handsy and he's physical. Look at him running. He's got his head turned around, I mean, almost as soon as he turns around and starts running. So then he's feeling for the receiver to find out where he's going to go, all while tracking down the ball. Yeah. He can definitely hit as well. When he's doing that kind of work, he really looks like he's top notch. Excellent. So what else? We had one transfer, by the way, as well. We did pick up, I believe, five-star Tony Grimes from UNC. If you weren't aware, here's this guy, and he's filling quite a big need at this point. Get this worked in here so you can see it much better. So he's already got some playing time. He's probably able to come in and play immediately. He looks like a blanket. He looks like white on rice. He looks like all that kind of stuff. He definitely looks like he is aware at all times of where he needs to be. I don't think I've seen, I mean, of course, you probably wouldn't in a highlight tape, right? But you can kind of see him working the field just right there, thinking, well, do I need to let up on my guy? What do I need to do? He gets kind of picked there himself, but you saw him working there. You saw him on his guy. He's very savvy about how he needs to play. He probably could stand to put on a little bit of weight and be maybe just a little bit more physical. When he's up against a wide receiver, it's not a problem. Now, if he's got a pass rush, or they've sent him on a blitz or something like that, and he's trying to get around an edge, or a running back comes over and picks him up, he has trouble getting around. That's not going to be a large portion of his work. We really want him for the cover. But if I'm going to critique him like I think I should, then that's definitely an area would be good for him to grow. But bringing in some experience, which is what we really need at this point. So glad to have him. And, I mean, good to just have a really solid pickup from the portal as well. We haven't been that active in the portal. I think Jameer Johnson, of course, picked up Max last year. A couple other guys that kind of been in there, people you just wouldn't have known or thought of, to be quite honest. So we haven't been real active, and this is probably the best one we've had so far. So I want to give huge kudos for that. Now, how do these guys work out to fill in the depth chart? Let's take a look. Ooh, let's get back over here real quick. So I want to I'm going to credit Chance Bitters with this. I asked him if I could borrow this because he did such a great job on it, and I really like the color coding. I like the position breakdown, which is something I wanted to give to you all. And I asked him if I could use it, and he said yes. So I'm extremely thankful for that. Let me blow this up for you a little bit more so we can see this. We are going to start with the cornerbacks on the left side. Again, thank you, Chance, for allowing that. He's Chance_Bitters. Great follow on Twitter. go check out the guy. Okay, he's putting out some good stuff like this, and I'm using it, so I highly recommend him. As you can see, he's already filled in Grimes as a starting left corner potentially. So that's filling in for Jalen Jones, right? So you see Jalen Jones in pink because he's going to the NFL. We're also bringing in Bravion Rogers, and he might be able to fill that. We have Harmon and Taylor already on the roster. Bowie, Moten, and Jones have transferred out. They're in the transfer portal. I think Bowie just found a home, if I'm not mistaken, or was that Killebrew? One of the two at Louisville, and I don't think the others have yet. Miles Jones not, and I don't think Moten has either. So you can see how important it was for us to actually pick up Grimes. Harmon probably needs another year. I would have liked to have had him just not even playing for a couple years. We need to be able to do the same thing for Bravion, at least in a limited capacity, so that we can get these guys a little bit more settled into the system. Okay, let's go on the other side. Let's see. There we go. So we'll deal with nickelback and cornerback as well. So Chappelle's going to be on the other side. That's definitely going to happen there. But having Javon behind him was crucial. And hopefully we don't have to play him much. We're pretty thin at the position, though, right? You can see Antonio Johnson at the nickelback leaving, going to the NFL. Wish that guy a lot of luck. Kerr's going to need to fill in for him. Dalton Brooks going to need to fill in if Kerr gets hurt or if there's got to be some swapping. So these guys are definitely going to be getting some early playing time. Killebrew, like I said, left. Harris left. George left. So it left us pretty thin. This is why it was a really big need for us. But you can see how we're filling it in. You can see the areas that we have addressed. And that's encouraging. It's still thin. The name of the game in 2023 is going to be health. Stay healthy. That's what we are going to need. Getting back to the center of the, let's see here. We need to look at safeties. Well, you can see here, I think. There we go. Richardson's leaving, right? Going to the NFL or graduating. Bryce Anderson going to be filling in for him. Bryce had a great year. Every time I saw him, he looked the part. I'm really glad to have him, but we are still quite thin at this side. Swinging over. Gilbert on the other side. And Matthews. We at least have two deep there. That's probably all we need. We don't need a whole lot of guys. It's not a place that we get a lot of injuries from. Cornerbacks a little bit more of that. So two's probably okay. Bryce probably will be able to play the other side without getting injured most of the year. That's great. Hopefully it'll stay that way. Knock on wood. But don't be too concerned. Now look at the defensive line. We have loads and loads and loads of depth here. Stewart, Nolan, McKinley, Jackson, Overton right across the front. We got backups almost after backups. Even Rake's a quality guy. Third string at defensive tackle is going to get some reps. And everybody that you see second string, huge reps. So Shamar Turner coming in after Nolan. I mean, these guys are 1A and 1B. So there's not even really a first string, second string here, in my opinion. Regis is going to be playing in coordination with Jackson, Anai White with Overton, and Silla with Stewart. Notice who's still on there, which I'm glad to see, and that's Anthony Lucas. Okay, third string defensive end, though. Glad to really see this guy is hanging around so far. Hope it stays that way. Going across, again, I think Dindy will continue and Diggs as well. And then you can see how we have had people transferring out and who we're adding in. The one person that didn't show you the film of today is Samu. Okay? Tamanu Pepe. That's a great name, isn't it? Let me say it again. Tamanu Pepe. Adding David Hicks on the defensive end side. And again, I didn't give you my comp on David real quick. And so, what did you think about him? He's about 270. I thought it was like 6'4". He's got moves around the edge that were just eye-popping, right? And I really got kind of just slobbering watching him play and forgot about that. I think if I'm trying to figure out who that might be, he gives off a little essence of Myles Garrett. He does. He kind of does, and he also had that same journey, I think, as well, where he was an Aggie, he stayed an Aggie, and it ended that way. Kind of also, they're right up there, same level of commit. Hopefully, will pay dividends in this, and it adds the right kind of depth that I think that we needed. Because you see that Addazio transferred out, Burris transferred out, Darius Jones transferred out, a guy I really liked. He just couldn't make it up the depth chart. Dallas Walker, I don't even think has been with the team for quite some time now, and Elijah Judy transferred out as well. It just is what it is. There's just so much depth there. These guys just they weren't going to see the playing time they probably could if they would get on over to, I don't know. I think Toon Meese ended up at Michigan State. He can go play there, I'm sure. I mean, I'm not saying they're a bad team. He can definitely get some playing time in there. Some of the other guys, maybe on down to a Houston or Tulsa, something like that. Maybe even a Tech. We've had some guys go over to Tech and be Texas Tech and be quite successful. And then we put in Ryland Kennedy. So he's definitely got a nice room to work with as he gets molded into what we need him to be, right? So that's the defense. We did a lot of work on defense. So let's move on over to offense. Let's just stay right in the middle. Let's see if I can get you a really good view at this. There we go. We'll start on the left side. We'll start with tight end because it's easy to see. But Blake Smith transferred out. Max Wright, 5th year. We added Jaden Platt. Like I told you, you see how much tight end room we've got here. And this is why I kind of mentioned, as I saw, that we were running him as a wide receiver. Maybe we can do that here. I like the thought of him running comebacks like Jeff Fuller used to run. He's got the hands, I think, that remind me of Jeff Fuller as well. Just big paws. They just look like just huge. We've got Donovan Green. We've got Jake Johnson, Garza and Ostrom. I mean, we're pretty well set here for quite a while. So it might make some sense for him to move out there. And as you saw, and you're getting ready to see, I'll just go ahead and do it now. This is left side wide receiver. Okay. So right over here, we're running Stewart. Preston's leaving. Lane transferred out. Marshall transferred out. Marshall went to Ole Miss. Wow. After all that talk on social media, huh? All right, Clown U. That's not Ole Miss, y'all. That's not on Ole Miss. I got nothing against them. It's all the clown talk. We know all about it though. So we're pretty thin over there on wide receiver. So could Platt maybe come in and work off of Stewart just a bit? It's an idea. It is an idea. Let's swing over the other side here. Okay, so no secret, you got Moose over here, right? Jackson backing him up. Anias, right? So these are the NFL potentials. So we could have some of these Blues go back. We pretty well sure Anias was leaving, but I don't think he's made it official just yet. And maybe it's something he wants to come back and solidify after his injury. Maybe he's not grading out as well as he might have liked. But Price have left, Brown have left. We're bringing in Tees. So we're looking a little bit better on the right side. Platt makes me think he would shore up the other side much better. And as I'm looking at these rooms, especially wide receiver, I'm thinking we've got some quality guys in here. Okay, Noah Thomas filled in a great role this last year. Man, right when we really needed him to as well. So feeling pretty good about it. I'd like to see a little bit more depth, but I'm not going to complain. One more wide receiver would really make me feel good between now and National Signing Day. So let's look at the right side of the line. Father's there. That's going to be a staple. Probably Foster's well in the middle. Wyckoff is an interesting option, though, because he played so much at center. Robinson's not necessarily going to the draft, but he can. But this is one I thought was probably going to end up staying. Behind him, Nabu, Bankhead, and we're bringing in T.J. Shanahan. Colton Thomason is got to come in because P.J. Williams moved out. That had to happen. We're maybe even thankful that happened. Not going to lie. So it has to happen. It is what it is. But we're pretty deep on the offensive line. And think about this. We've got a lot on here that we're really going to be working around, plugging and playing, trying to find the right combination. But most of these guys, I think, are pretty well set. I don't see maybe a lot of movement here. Maybe I think Dewberry's definitely a starter. Zune makes a lot of sense, but maybe that's a place where we're going to see a little bit more competition over the spring. Who could get out there? I don't know. Could Herb or Crownover do any better? Are we going to continue to run, some 1 and 2 tight end sets? If we do that, I think it takes a lot off of Zune's plate, and we look much better. And I think we're just going to need to hammer that anyways, I hope. But either way, we're bringing in Bertrand, we're bringing in Basantis, we're bringing in Shanahan. Almost any one of them could really probably come in and give some meaningful minutes if they had to, but it would be really excellent to sit these guys. We've got the most depth, I think, out of all the positions on defensive and offensive line. So that's good. These were meat and potato places again, right? So if we solidify these places, we can work in all the skill positions. And we've got plenty of that skill position too. Look, let me pull you up here to QB. It's not working out for me for some reason. I can't get you a good view. How about that? I think you can see that. Now Weigman's on the top of the list, but we got Johnson backing him up. Marcel Reed makes us a decent 3 deep. King's out. Stowers out. They moved on. King went to, Georgia Tech, right? Haven't heard anything about Stowers yet. Running back room, Daniels and Moss, definitely 1 and 2 right now. A chain. Headed to NFL. Love to see where this guy goes. He's going to be extremely successful. Love that guy. LJ Johnson gone. We still have Crownover. He's got at least another year or 2. And he gave us some really meaningful play out of that I formation, right? But he can play the halfback position as well. And Ruben's bringing it in this next year, makes us look very, 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 very competent in the backfield. So, what do you think? Only thing I probably missed on here was special teams. Not even sure you can see it real well. I got that fixed for you. I can fix it somehow, some way. There we go. Maybe. Well, I'll narrate it for you, but you know who we've got. We've got Bond coming back. We've got Tyler White coming in. We've got a couple other guys that left. We got Alan Guerreri that left. Caden Davis left. Connor Choate's going to leave, so we're going to have a new 12th man and a new long snapper. And then I believe Constantino should be back as well. And I don't think there's any reason to think that that's not going to take place. So Tyler will just be filling in for him. But maybe it's a place we're going to have a little competition. Were you completely satisfied with the way Nick kicked us last year? I say that out of love, because if we're not going to talk about it, then it doesn't help people to think that they need to, pressure themselves to get better at their craft. So that's our depth chart. How do you feel about it? How do you feel about it? Let's see if I can swing the whole thing in there again. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Hope you got a better idea about where we stand with a lot of these things. And now that you do, let's go ahead and grade some of these out. I do want to grade 2 position coaches. I told you I would get to that. I want to start off with Addazio and Santucci. Okay? So, offensive line, linebackers. For offensive line, I've been sitting on this. you're more than welcome to tell me what you think about the offensive line grade. So this is kind of coming from the year and how we finish things up. Here we are, early signing day. What are we going to do on National Signing Day? I don't think it's going to change this a whole lot, so that's why I'm willing to go ahead and do it at this point. And you can see all the places that we addressed. If I'm giving him Addazio a grade, meaning this just be on him. I'm sure there's other guys working on recruiting these guys, but if I'm thinking about just his grade based off of recruiting, I'm thinking A. Got 3 4-stars, 1 3-star. 3-star looks like he's something that could really grow into something great, or very serviceable. All the others look like they are really good, have high motors. I think this is it. I think this is an A for me for early signing day for Addazio. For the course of the year, I'm looking at the depth chart. Zune didn't do so well. Took us a long time to get Dewberry in there. We had Nebu in there. Sometimes Moko got hurt. Aki was also in there. Wyckoff filled in for Foster. Okay, never saw a Strickland that I'm aware of. I don't think we saw a Bankhead. Robinson was pretty much the staple at offensive guard. He had a few problems. Father at right tackle. He had a few problems. So we had a lot of mixing and matching all year. Seemed like we didn't really have our head on our shoulders to start the season. Would you agree with that? And we really didn't quite figure it out even maybe until UMass. But maybe that had to do with some of the scheme. So I'm going to take a little bit off his plate, perhaps, because maybe that was Dickey. But there still has to be a level of development that's expected for getting these guys in there. I mean, Dewberry's first year, he played pretty well, especially once we got a little bit of help going over there. Same thing with Zune. We went 5-7 though. We had a lot of trouble scoring, and I think we put that a lot on the offensive line. I think we know King had some issues, but we could definitely look at it and tell, well, at least some of those issues that he was having had to do with the offensive line. Max had some of those same issues. Okay, Connor had some of those as well, but ultimately, especially as we started moving towards something else, he showed a lot more promise. He worked well whenever the line wasn't doing so well, though, either. So that was a huge vote of confidence, though, for Connor. But it definitely felt to me like there was a lot of what our problems were revolving around this offensive line. So with that being said, am I an F? What are y'all? Am I a D? Am I a C? Is a D and an F the same thing? I mean, where do you want to be? Let me work backwards. Where are we an A? Hell no. Where are we a B minus? No. Can't do it. I can't do it. I can't think about that LSU game and say we were a B minus. I think we probably played a B plus game against LSU on the offensive line. But that's one game. UMass, that doesn't count. We still got tore up by App State. So I'm going with a D. I'm going with a D plus. I don't feel 100% comfortable with the F. I think some of the onus comes off of him, but I'm not comfortable with the C either. So I'm gonna go D plus on Addazio. I think he's got his work cut out for him. I think he needs to show us that he was a little bit more of a victim of circumstance, really knows what he's doing. Injuries played a large part and all those other things, and that show me that once he shows me that, then I'll be happy to move my grade up. But right now we're not pulling punches and we're just speaking the truth. I got him as a D plus. So what do y'all got him at? Okay. Linebackers. Okay, Santucci. Where do you got this guy? Think about it. Early signing day, what did he do? There's what he did right there. Okay? He added 3 guys, at least 1 4-star, I think. You saw what I showed you from Tarian York, right? Okay. So what do you think? I think, oh man, I've been back and forth on this as well. Santucci. Let's go with earliest signing day then first. I think I'm going to give him a B. Wait, pump the brakes. Let's at least reason through it. We missed on Hill. We missed on Anthony Hill. All right, we picked up Damian Sanford. A lot of what he did was very similar. We could show you some more of that. Tarian York. This is a guy who's hopefully Aggie through and through. Great guy, gonna be great in the locker room. Appreciates everything that he's got. Chance Johnson is very solid role player type of guy. Definitely not an A. Okay, missing on the linebacker again. We missed on Harold Perkins last year. He missed on Anthony Hill this year. Had him, lost him, didn't hold on to him. Okay, missed him again. We haven't been able to land a high-end linebacker, I think, since I started A&M. I don't even know if there's one before that, to be quite honest. It's been so long. White has left. Lee has left. Where Cooper was kind of in and out, but we got Russell back. Okay, did he do a good job keeping some of these guys in? Maybe, maybe not. Whew, early signing day. I think I'm gonna give him a B minus. I think he recovered well from the Anthony Hill business once that went down. Went in and found some good quality guys to at least do some things and play behind a really elite defensive line. So good job there, getting that taken care of, because if you hadn't done that and you missed out on Anthony Hill, I'd probably have you in the D range as well. Of course, that's just for early signing date. Now, as far as the year goes, wow, linebacker play, how was it? There's a little bit of mixing and matching. We're rotating 3 all year long between Russell, Andre White, and Cooper, and then White's injured for quite a bit of the season as well. Maybe he was a little bit of a victim of circumstance. Okay. How poorly did they play? Missed a lot of gaps. Quite a few. Tackling, problematic. We've got to be better. So are we at an A? Hell no. B? No, definitely not. I'm not comfortable with either one of those. C. Okay, when I start talking about a C, I start warming up a little bit. How about an F? I'm okay with an F. Well, I think maybe there was some circumstance there as well that he wasn't all his issue as well. I mean, look at the defensive scheme. Look what was going on. What do you expect when you're running a 3-man front all the time? Okay, so kind of put your linebackers a little bit of a disadvantage, I think. Well, that's kind of fair. So I'm going to relieve him of the F, but you're definitely not getting no A or B. And to be honest, I'm not that comfortable with a C either, so I'm going to give you a D+. Got to be better. It's got to be better. Our linebackers need to be able to run the offense, and there's been plenty of opportunity for this to happen. And we're on going to be year 3, I think, of Santucci. So you don't get quite the pass that first-year guys like Addazio would as well. So I'm definitely, even though I'm not, I think the scheme was a big deal. It makes me want to push you up to a C and give you a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. I'm holding it down because you need to be better, and you need to have that loving pressure put on as well. I'm sure you're not watching the Santucci, but whatever. That's what the people are thinking, and that's what I think that people are thinking. Y'all let me know. What do you think Santucci's grade was? Don't hold punches. It's fine. So that is hopefully the most in-depth thing you've ever gotten from me all year long. That's my gift to all of you. I hope you have had a great Christmas and your holiday season continues to be fantastic. We'll continue to keep bringing you more content. That was extremely exciting for a team of one to put together for you all. And so I hope you have a great understanding of who we brought in. And if you're thinking to yourself and you've gotten this far and you're like, I'm not really getting to see that many other places, and you're definitely not able to get to see that for free, like and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 900 next, not a few away. And hey, if you can be one of those, it'd be all the merrier. And this is the time of year for that. So that's what I've got for you. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you soon as more develops. Hopefully an offensive coordinator coming soon. All right. Thanks, and gig 'em.